What's up, people of the internet? My name is Davicab, and I'm doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to go through a video of gameplay from PAX, and joining me today is my good old buddy Neon.
Hey guys, how are you doing? Good thing that you have me here. Get all of that analysis in there. I don't think that you would be able to handle it without me. This is a lot of video for one man to handle, so I'm here as backup. You can find myself on the eSpace channel, but I think that we are anxious to get into some sweet gameplay action, are we not?
Yeah, we are. But yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this video. All right, so we are looking at gameplay between Fwosh. She's up on the top. She's playing the black-green econ deck, and the challenger is playing the armored cleave red-green deck. Neon, what do you think about these two decks? Which one do you think has the natural advantage?
Well, I think that the armored cleave deck is one that generally people thought was not as strong as some of the others, and there's some of the card choices in the deck that were a little bit strange, and it also doesn't quite have the aggression I felt to get underneath the green black deck personally. But that's but I guess that you would even know better since you were actually able to be there and play the decks yourself. Was that your impression?
My impression was I actually felt the decks to be kind of equally balanced, except that the blue-black was the hardest to pilot, and the green-red deck had a couple of duds. Like Grand Melee, I wasn't really feeling, and I also felt like Divine Purpose was a little bit redundant because you've got like Axe and Pugna, who are already massive heroes that are super tanky. Why do you need Divine Purpose in that deck? You know what I mean? Like Axe is damn near invincible as it is. So
it's definitely seeing other cards that cost 7 as well that have been coming out. Then it just feels like it's a little bit too low impact for the cost.
All right, we got Farvin coming in. Where would you put Farvin here?
He doesn't do a ton on this board in any of the positions that I can see.
Well, you can't see anything right now, unfortunately. I'm sort of feeling lane 3 because you definitely don't want to put him in lane 2 because we've already got a green hero there. And lane 1, we don't really need the extra armor on Axe because, oh god, please stop clicking this thing, dude, whoever's doing this. And then I'm thinking maybe we could dominate lane 3, start trying to win that, but I guess he opted for lane 1. It's not a bad choice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're trying to just push that and push the Lycan out of the lane, I don't know. I think that there's a number of placements how that could have worked out that it wouldn't have been great. But also, I guess it does allow for a setup like if you did draw a Salamania's Favor, because you have the green hero in the first lane. There are Salamania's Favor in the red-green deck, correct?
Which is, I think so. I don't remember. Okay, so what's the play here? We've got Duel. That's not going to do much good. We could Grand Melee might not be too bad. We've got 2 heroes here. It'd kill our middle creep, unfortunately. Alternatively, we could Smeevil. But do we really need, like... The worst case scenario is Smeevil hits Axe, and that's kind of wasted. Oh, so he passes.
I mean, this is one of the things also that I don't like about the red-green deck, is it felt like a lot of the early plays can be pretty passive. There isn't a ton to do here that's impactful. So, in this case, I now think that you probably do want to, just so that you're using your mana.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'd put Smeevil in front of Assassin just to take the hit. Yeah, exactly. Plus, I'm putting armor on. Oh, and of course that buffs him up. Oh, that's a great play actually. Hitting Lycan with the armor is not a bad call at all. Like you want him on the board as much as possible for maximum value. And then we got.
I've been really impressed by Lycan the more that I've been seeing him and thinking about him. Has he been one that like what are your thoughts on him right now?
I'm Lycan. He's just sort of reliable. The only thing that is a potential weakness is obviously someone could kill off the creep next to him or the heroes next to him before the combat phase, which kind of sucks. What I'd like to see, what I'm hoping exists at some point in the game, is some sort of squishing mechanic that like moves all cards left to fill in empty spaces, because that would be really really handy for heroes like Lycan or Legion Standard Bearer. Because you want adjacency, and sometimes this game doesn't have adjacency. So if they put like a squish mechanic in green cards, that would be fantastic, I think.
Now, since we did get a chance on the red-green side to clear off some heroes, we do have a chance to buy a couple of items, which is nice. We bought 3 items on the second turn is pretty decent here. But I don't know if you're putting on enough pressure yet in order to really feel comfortable of your state in the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure which lane. We're kind of spoiled for choice here. There's a lot of options we could take. I think... Oh, he's going mid. He's trying to spread out his red heroes. He's going to have actually every single hero out on the board. It looks like he's going to be positioning to win mid lane. He's going to possibly trade right lane, and then he's trying to see if he can win mid lane, I think, is his current game plan.
So in this case, something like the duel should be able to kill the hero in the second lane, which would be really nice. I almost like just passing here for the purposes of keeping initiative, is because like your position in this lane is pretty good. So like you don't need to commit, because you can then just go the Legion Commander, kill the Ricks, and then you're dominating the second lane.
And then he can't play anything in the second lane. He'd like to play probably what, Savage Wolf, I'm guessing. Truth to Power is not going to do him any good because there's 2 heroes in the lane. So that would eat up a card for sure, which would be nice. And he doesn't want to play Savage Wolf in the third lane. I say he, but it's Fwosh, she, because she's probably more interested in paydaying in the third lane. So that's where you want to get your paydays out. So yeah, I agree with you. Actually, dueling in the mid lane would really screw up her tempo, I would say.
But they did take a play there in order to deploy the Nether Ward, which, I mean, it's nice to get those out of your hand, but I just think that the initiative cost there is a little bit higher than I would like. I mean, that's also something that people are going to really take a while to learn about, is just there's this impulse to be like, well, I have a card that I can play.
Oh, that's like exactly what I was thinking right here. Like, Blade of the Vigil on either one of these 2 heroes wouldn't have made a big difference, especially with items. I found there's a lot of times where you can play an item, and the impulse is, I want to get items out as soon as possible, because the sooner I get them out, the more value I'll start getting out of them. But like, for example, if you put Blade of the Vigil on Legion Commander, it's not going to make a lick of difference. So what you do instead is you just hold on to it and wait for an opportunity for it to actually matter, for you to pull out some surprise damage. See, yeah, she should have dueled. He should have dueled the Ricks, and then that would have stopped the Savage Wolf. I agree. I think that
yeah, because he made the play in the first lane, that it's made it so that Fwosh had the initiative, which means that this is that she has the chance to do this. And the Savage Wolf is actually, like, it doesn't look like a big deal right now, but I think it's kind of a bit of a disaster, because it'll probably be able to hit a couple of times to get a little bit of extra size on it. I mean, not crushing, but it's definitely not good.
Right. Grand Melee here, not a bad idea, because since Rix is hitting the tower, Rix is not going to cleave into our line, but we are going to cleave into Rix. So I actually would think, I probably consider putting Blade of the Vigil on, actually what you could do is you could duel Rix and then Blade of the Vigil and then take out Savage Wolf this turn.
Oh, I like that play.
Yeah, I like that play a lot too.
It lets you get something out of Grand Melee.
Do it. Is this what he's doing? So it's going to get you, you trade duel for 5 gold, which is not too bad. Our Legion Commander takes almost no damage, and now please Blade of the Vigil. It's such a smart play right here. No! Why would you not do that? Now it's the wolf. The wolf, he's going to chomp on your tower and get so big. Okay, so Riley the Cunning is going down. Okay, so anyways, our hand right now is exactly what I meant when I said that red green has a couple of duds in it. It's 3 divine purpose. Man, we don't need 3 divine purpose. That's a little bit excessive.
Yeah, this is especially what I see as the downside of playing a card like divine purpose, is that you're either going to get it inconsistently, so it's not going to be playing into your game plan, or it's going to be clogging up your hand and this kind of
Let me ask you.
And even if it's good, it's like not insane.
I was about to ask, would you scroll Pugna right here? I think I would, because then you could instantly redeploy him and take out the steam cannon.
Well, that's a good point. And it does. Now, the steam cannon, it doesn't totally negate the effects of that, because you can use that cross lane.
Sure.
So, yeah. So it is something, though. The fact that you can also use it here to take out the Bronze Legionnaire to keep Riley alive is kind of a pain. But definitely, I think that was worth considering. And I like the idea of being able to deploy in that way, because you really want to get the steam cannon off the board, because they're so devastating.
Alternatively, at this point, I don't know, there's a steam cannon and 2 heroes there. it's kind of tempting at this point to just leave it. We're about to like literally kill lane 1. We're just 1 damage off. We could just put Pugna down in mid lane and just try and like, we're in such a strong position right now in first and second lane. I think I'd actually probably give up third lane. Okay, I don't agree with that. He's a little bit focused on those improvements. I vote give up third lane. You're probably going to lose it even if you do put Pugna there, and just get a really, really strong position in first and second for these inevitable heroes coming in later on.
Yeah, and it's actually something that the value of Pugna in the second lane to be able to remove the favor might be kind of underrated, because that slows down that second lane's development and allows you to push your advantage there more effectively.
Right.
So it might not seem like the steam cannon is obviously a higher value target, but if you're just saying like, okay, like investing the hero into that lane and then having to get it out afterwards, or it's probably going to die anyway, like that whole rigmarole is not worth the effort of committing to that lane, and it's rather just push down your advantage in those,
right. Here's the way I look at it. Sure, steam cannon is a very high value target, but is it a higher value target than the tower? No.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Blade of the Vigil coming down. That's going to take out the Phantom Assassin as far as we know. Healing Salve's not going to do us a lick of good, and we can't Berserker's Call, which kind of sucks. So we're sitting on a bunch of dead cards at the moment, actually.
Yeah, I'm looking at Fwosh's hands too, and it is also pretty clunky as well. Oh, playing the Iron Fog Mine on that lane is...
she's looking at a potential 40 gold.
Man.
3 from the mine will bring her to 10. Payday that to 20. Payday that to 40. No. Yeah. That's the math. Okay. Oh, I'm surprised she cast that already. Interesting. She didn't wait for the...
Just using her power effectively, using her mana effectively.
Oh, yeah.
And that respectively, especially if she's doing the math of like where everything comes up. Like, so right now you have 8 of the mana in the second lane, which you wouldn't want to use. Actually, I guess you only have the little black hero in the last lane too. So. All
right. I would Berserker's Call right off the bat. Like, you've got the initiative. She has 1 hero in the lane. Get that out of here. Because the challenger can't know this, but if he doesn't, she's almost certainly going to play either Hand of God or Thunderhide Pact. My guess is Thunderhide Pact. So Berserker's Call, absolutely. Get Rix out of here.
Yeah, definitely being able, I think against a deck like this, especially if you are a red deck that doesn't have something like hard removal that black has access to, you really just want to stop them for as long as possible.
God, he passed.
The Thunderhide Pact. That's surprising.
I'm really not agreeing with this player's choices. He should know. I would imagine by now this person knows that Thunderhide Pact is in the black-green deck. This is 8 mana. There's a green hero in the lane. There's a possibility that, okay, we got Hand of God instead. Interesting. I would have... Oh, she's trying to save the Savage Wolf, I'll bet you. That's the objective. Because, I mean, after a while, the Savage Wolf becomes a Thunderhide Pact. And now
I think the objective is in playing the Thunderhide Pact in the third lane, because that actually will allow you to take down the tower pretty quickly.
But then you can't payday for 50 gold.
Sure. So I guess just not playing the Thunderhide Pact. I don't know how I feel about that. It's definitely not the best. Okay, so got lucky with the activation on Pugna, so did take down the steam cannon, which is very good for the challenger, but definitely not out of the woods yet, given this Thunderhide Pact is coming down. Man, 14 for 14 is huge.
It's really huge. I'm here. I think I'm feeling a poaching knife plus Berserker's Call. That'll give you a bunch of gold, actually. This lane, which we kind of need because we are really behind in the gold game. If Fwosh doesn't buy a big item, then she's going to be looking at 60 or more gold next turn.
Yeah.
So let me see. Will leather armor keep him? No, not with Riley. Riley's too tough.
Oh, you're talking about like dying from the using the Berserker's Call?
Yeah.
I don't believe that they survive one way or another, because that's the 10 damage. Yeah, definitely dying one way or another.
Yeah, unfortunately, we just have so many of our cards just eaten up by Divine Purpose. I don't know, man. Okay, so we've got Book of the Dead, Town Portal Scroll. I'd be tempted to pick up that Town Portal Scroll because I think lane 3 is a lost cause at this point. We're not going to do anything to that Thunderhide Pact. So I'd
Definitely
get
pick up the town portal scroll because it's just that there's like I mean even getting axe out of the first lane could be appealing as well, given the fact that your opponent has kind of clearly
right.
Abandoned it. I mean, you probably need him still there in order to take down the actual tower this turn, but in the next turn, you probably want to have access to that, I would imagine.
So Fwosh is putting Lycan in mid. It looks like she's correctly identifying that the challenger's won lane 1, she's won lane 3, so now everything's going to boil down to the second lane, and I think that's absolutely 100% the right call, because she has almost no chance of winning lane 1, not unless she invests very, very heavily. Axe is just gonna keep smacking on this tower, man. That's what Axe does. you just put him on the board. He's like, all right, I'm gonna hit this tower like 5 times and kill it.
So we have the up to the Berserker's Call. What exactly does it accomplish? Okay, we the way the initiative works out is the Truth to Power first. Very good use of that card here, because I think that she's very conscious of the idea that Berserker's Call could mess up her lane,
right?
Given this situation, so well played there to shut that down, and is going to be a trade as opposed to just clearing out all of these blockers. Maybe we get to Divine Purpose though on the Legion Commander in order to save her from that. It seems like the best applications for it right now.
Right, this is the lane that you want to invest in, because this is where the fight is going to break down. I don't agree with that. I think you should just Divine Purpose her, save the salve for the Lycan, and yeah, I think starting to invest heavily in this lane is going to make sense. It's going to be a smart call. God, this poor Rix is dying like almost every single turn. Mist is coming down in this lane as well. Is he gonna divine the Lycan?
One of the things is definitely with what you're saying with the Rix, like dying every turn just feels like kind of like part of his purpose. But I also just want to draw attention to that subtle thing that we pointed out earlier about not using the Blade of the Vigil in order to take out that wolf. It's at this point dealt 7 damage, and then is a 5/7 on the battlefield. And now you're using this as a blocker to diminish that damage. Like, you were talking now about how the middle lane has become so important, and it's really actually that Savage Wolf that has really made it so important.
Right. I think that Blade of the Vigil, if the challenger loses this game, I think that we're going to be able to trace it back to that Savage Wolf play, not killing it when you have the chance. That's the thing about Savage Wolf. You have 1, maybe 2 turns to kill it, and if you miss that opportunity, then it's like too late. The bus has left. All right, so he's still investing in this lane, which I don't know about. I mean, I guess he's trying to keep Pugna. Like, why keep Pugna alive? He doesn't need to be here anymore. Man.
Town portal.
Yeah, town portal.
I don't think that your opponent can deal the 80 next turn. Yeah,
right.
So using that right now. So they can't deal the 80 next turn unless something really weird happens.
Right.
So you can just say, okay, Pugna's coming out. He's moving mid, and let's just like all in on lane 2.
Yeah, we actually don't even want Pugna to kill the Chin, because we want Chin to be stuck here. He's here in Purgatory. He's not doing anyone any favors. So pulling Pugna out before he kills the Chin is actually the ideal play. Unfortunately, Fwosh took out Riley the Cunning too, so I'm sure she's going to make an appearance in the mid lane. There's a chance that she could show up in lane 1 just because Black has some crossboard stuff, so maybe she wants to, I don't know, do something sneaky, but I think odds are very, very good that Riley's going to show up mid lane.
Actually, it seems okay to play the Riley in lane 1 and then play the Steam Cannon to kill something in lane 2. And it also uses your this is probably what I would expect is the most likely one of just loading in the middle lane. And one of the things I actually want to point out in this deployment phase, I was noticing that Fwosh seemed to have identified that the mid lane was going to be important even earlier. Like, Rix has gotten to this lane like 4 turns in a row or something like this at this point, and just forcing Legion Commander to chew through it again and again and again. And it's unfortunate that this is kind of the role that Rix has, and I think this is part of the reason that we've heard that it's not necessarily one of the best heroes in the game, because it just feeds a lot. Sure. But I mean, sometimes you need to do that.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a blocker. Sometimes you need someone there to cast spells. All right, we're having a freaking brawl in this mid lane. Look at this mid lane. Axe is about to decapitate this creep. So who has initiative? Luckily, the challenger has initiative, so he might have if he were smart, well, he could Nether Ward, but I think he's better off taking initiative, because Berserker's Call is going to do so much. So just pass. Wait, did he Nether Ward? He did.
Yeah, that's
I think that was a mistake. It's gonna, like, the tower's at full health. It's gonna hurt a little bit, but she's probably gonna do what? What does she have? I can't see her hand. Come on, announcers. Well, we don't know. As the challenger, we don't know what she had, so we had to sort of assume the worst. There's so many cards she could have played. Actually, Truth to Power wouldn't have done a lick of good because there's two green and 2 red.
Yeah. I mean, the one that I would be worried about here would be the Hand of God.
Oh,
this is like the perfect situation for a Hand of God in order to
Oh, that play. Not only did that take out our ideal Berserker's Call target, but it also opened up the lane for Riley to smack for 12. That was so not worth the 3 ping damage from Netherward, man.
Yeah. I mean, Netherward is not a good card. And this is one of those things that you also have to identify is how important these various cards are at various points. Unless your opponent is at like 6 or less, it's just not a card that you need to prioritize.
Right.
And just you're like always thinking about like how important is priority in this game state. And I think in this game state, it's really, really important. You could have taken out both of their green heroes here, which shuts off the Hand of God, allows for a big attack. I think that's just too much of a cost.
Right, I agree. Oh, we saw that Shiva's Guard on Rix. Smart play. Now we can expect a Shiva's Guard every single turn, taking Lycan down to 2 attack, taking this Prowler. Actually, Prowler Vanguard, can you go into negative attack? Because she gets plus attack. I'm actually not sure how this works. I'm about to find out.
Yeah, we will see for sure. This Pugna has been doing a good deal of work. One of the best Pugna games I've seen so far, I think. Just jumping around and such. But I mean, part of the reason is just having to spend all these town portals on it as well.
Right. Well, you should certainly play Blade of the Vigil. There's no reason not to play Blade of the Vigil right here, right? It's just extra damage.
Yeah. I mean, I really like the... If you play the Blade of the Vigil on the Lycan, you still once again get a chance to kill the wolf.
Uh-huh.
Pretty important.
I'm experiencing deja vu. Using Blade of the Vigil to kill the wolf. Where have we heard that before?
I don't know. Again, I can't recall. But yeah, and I mean, like, it's a 7 attack. I mean, I don't know. I need enough to stop focusing on that because that's clearly just a problem. We'll identify it. We'll let it go. Traveler's Cloak will be placed on that Lycan. It's hard to call which Lycan on both sides of the
He didn't. Why is he so conservative with Blade of the Vigil? That's 6 damage he missed out on. 2 to the target and then 2 to either cleave target. That's 6 damage he missed. Why? There's nothing in this lane to do it. There's nothing in lane 1. It's just Axe by himself. What is he saving it for? I respectfully disagree with this challenger here.
This is something that I think also with the deploying items effectively, that especially a lot of the new players that I like when I've been watching these stream games, they don't seem to know how to apply them and use them properly, and sort of like what's the best play to get value out of them, because like ultimately they're just not doing anything in your hand.
Right.
And it's like if you can kind of like play it out and get any value whatsoever. And especially getting off that wolf off the table. I mean, yeah, once again, I'm not trying not to focus on that, but like that is immediate value. Like, why are you messing around with anything else?
I don't know. There's just nothing to save it for, like this is the other casting target is Axe, but you don't need axes. He's not going to destroy this tower, so what's the point? In the mid lane, the other 2 heroes already have weapons equipped. So the only option is, Lycan, man. That's the only thing you can cast it on that doesn't replace a weapon you already have. That was not a good play.
Should draw attention to the fact that we now have a Horn of the Alpha in the hand of Fwosh.
Oh,
so
sure do.
That could be played out and will very likely set up a lethal on this tower. So we do get the activation on Pugna, so it's good that the challenger remembered that. But
see, let me interrupt you. I think that was a massive mistake because he has all turn to do that. He doesn't need to do that as his first action. He should be Divine Purposing, Berserker's Calling, whatever, because the early stages are the most critical. That could have been the very last thing he did. Like, no big deal, right?
Yeah, I was just drawing out the attention to the fact that this said that like at least he remembered it. But I think that your point is definitely correct because it's for instance, if there's some way to kill this Riley, that's going to be dealing a lot of damage, dealing 13 damage.
Interesting option right here. He could Keenfolk Musket Lycan, use it to kill their Lycan, then equip Blade of the Vigil.
Come again?
He could use Keenfolk Musket on his Lycan, use the Lycan to kill either their Lycan or the Untested Brute, and then replace the Keenfolk Musket with a Blade of the Vigil, because it will have served its purpose. And I think everyone's actually equipped with an item. Oh god. Here comes the end. That's 29 damage. This is the end of the match. I think it's probably... If this isn't the end, it's probably close. Look at this fucking wolf. It's become 9 attack. He's had 2 opportunities to kill this wolf, and he's just left it. How much damage has this done to the fucking tower, man? Wow, that was a really good Berserker's Call.
I think like 14 is roughly my count, because he did 7 last turn, and then it was like 3 plus 4. So it's been... out, and just minor mistakes like that, especially when you have these snowballing units, you get so punished because if you let them hang around. Like, I mean, if it's something like a random creep, I mean, obviously they can be, deal a bunch of extra damage, and it can be annoying, especially when you have things like Mr. Vertus, but it's especially punishing when it's something like the Wolf. And there's some other cards like this too that we've seen already.
Okay, so our challenger lost this match. Let me just ask you, could the challenger have won, and what should he have done differently to win?
Okay, so I mean, we definitely have like harkened on a few of these things. We definitely the Blade of the Vigil being the biggest one, but you really see things like just managing his turns. The way that he was prioritizing initiative, the way that he was sequencing his cards. I felt like the entire game he was just kind of saying like, well, I can do this thing, so I'll do this thing that I can do, I guess. It didn't seem that he had a coherent plan of what was important in the game state at a given point. Right. So, like, for instance, like committing to that second lane earlier, really pushing advantages there, using resources effectively there. Those are some of the things that I saw as the sort of more systematic, big picture mistakes that were going on that cost him the game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I might even go so far as to say that if he had taken the exact same actions in a different sequence each turn, he might have won that game.
Yeah.
Like opening with Berserker's Call when he had an opportunity to open with Berserker's Call, not blowing your initiative on Pugna's ability, which destroys an improvement, which doesn't even affect the board anymore. Like, just sequencing matters a lot, because you want to shut down the heroes first, and then after you've shut stuff down, then you've got the opportunity to do whatever you want with the board when your opponent can't respond. That being said, also kill the Savage Wolf. Kill the Savage Wolf! It's too strong, man. I think if he had just done those two things...
Yeah, kill it with fire.
Right, yeah. I think if he had just done those two things, he probably actually would have won this game. I think it was very winnable for him.
Yes, it definitely was. And it shows also, like, I think that Fwosh played this game really well. She definitely identified what mattered. She was moving into the second lane a turn before I think that we had keyed on to the fact that the second lane was going to be the most important one. So there was no question that, and she was also, by and large, I didn't see too many things. It was like maybe that was a missequence. Maybe it could have been played more effectively. Generally, I thought that her play was extremely tight.
I think Fwosh was a step ahead of us and 2 steps ahead of the challenger.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Anyways, that's the video. Thanks for joining me today, Neon. I appreciate this. Down in the comments, let me know if this is the type of video you want to see more from me in the future. I can collaborate with other creators as well, hopefully. Maybe get Neon back. So let me know if you enjoyed this. I thought it was kind of fun. It was interesting to get another person's perspective on this video. So be sure to check out Neon's channel. I will link him down in the description. He makes some good stuff, covers tons of card games. So yeah, thanks for joining me, Neon.
It was my pleasure. It was a blast. Take care, man.
Sure.